Hello, you absolutely incredible human being. In today's video, I want to discuss narcissistic codependency. I want to talk about how this attachment is an exceptional level of rot inside of our brains that we've learned over the years. It basically blinds us into believing that we're going to have a better life if we stay in our current environment that has not served us well, that has become maladaptive, stay with our abusers, and all this simply because it's the only thing that we've ever known, and we simply haven't developed the skills to go out and learn how to live life in these new ways. Now, before I get into this video, I just quickly wanted to say I'm currently hosting one-on-one calls, talks, text, whatever works for you. If you're feeling really down, if you feel like you get some value out of these videos and you feel like you really need somebody to speak to, feel free to leave a comment. I will get in contact with you. So as always, we're going to start this video with a story. Close your eyes, visualize this with me. It's just like any other day. In the words of the youngsters, you're vibing. You decide it'd be a good idea to go check in on your parents because, well, you're bored. And truthfully speaking, maybe you just wanted to give one of them a hug. You head down the stairs that you go down fucking hundreds of times because you have OCD and you just constantly forget every single thing. Okay, and then you make it to the first floor, finally. You open the door to your loving family's place of residence. You hear shouting, "Kurva!" You just walked into an absolute shitfest. Your mom just broke a piece of glass, and quite honestly, you're the easiest target for emotional displacement. After hearing about how terrible of a son you are for 4 minutes, without saying anything at all, pure silence. With your newly found headache, you shuffle over to your father, whose powerful light has unfortunately been growing dim in recent years. In an effort to salvage and savor what you can of the moment, you give your father a big ol' hug, and you hold him tight for a brief moment, while your mother continues on her uninvited tangent. It's a bittersweet moment. Due to your mother's standard behavior and cornering you into minimizing contact overall, after you give your father a hug, you decide to head back upstairs, only to start suppressing your emotions with your drugs of choice: weed, friends, video games. Let's use this example where you have the normal person who's living in a normal environment, a normal life, right? This person is on the left. Let's say they're gaining about 1 level per day. And let's use the example that we have 3 total days in this. And then let's say you have person on the right who is living in this sort of environment with just constant abuse, constant yelling, constant arguing, constant insecurity projection. And the way that they deal with this powerful negative interaction that they encounter every single day is with the help of negative coping habits like smoking weed, emotional numbing through things like video games, you name it, whatever drug of choice is yours. When I think of this analogy, it's like the person on the right. So we've set the standard. The person on the left is gaining 1 level per day. We have 3 days. So day 1, level 1, day 2, level 2, day 3, level 3. And then you have the person on the right. And it's like they have an exceptional amount of energy. So let's say they hit level 2 on day 1 because there was no fighting in the house. There was no arguing, no getting treated like shit, no need to decompress emotions. On day 2, there's an argument. And people are fighting. People are treating each other like shit. They are just making each other feel so guilty. Like they are the reason that everyone else around them's lives is shitty. So it's like that person hit level 2 day 1, gets knocked down to level 1 on day 2, has to take all of this time to reorganize and get themselves back together. And by day 3, they are level 1.5. And the neurotypical person is level 3. We are getting outpaced by people who don't have to deal with this fucked up level of abuse constantly every day and have to go back into their head and just question everything and doubt themselves, go through this insecurity loop. Ultimately, this narcissistic codependency is stunting our growth drastically. And the medium for stunting our growth is actually the things that we do to escape. Those are the true things that are holding us back. It is a concoction of the actual environment, the stimuli that is constantly hitting you, as well as the way you go about it, which in my case, I tend to escape, and that's why truthfully speaking, we shouldn't say we are behind or we feel behind, but in certain aspects of my life, it is it is undoubted that there are neurotypical people who are way ahead of me. And unfortunately, that's just the case of the environment, of being exposed to an environment like that. Truthfully, this environment is why we escape and we constantly distract ourselves. Meanwhile, the neurotypical person is building upon that level 3 foundation that we have, and we're at level 1.5 trying to pick up all the fucking pieces. It's really fucking hard trying to function when you know that you are broken. And I understand that it feels impossible to take action when you're in a situation like that. You may feel paralyzed. It may feel like life is just passing you by while you're watching everything in front of you slowly decay over time. The weight of that burden is way too much to handle alone, and if it feels overwhelming, I don't blame you. I want it to be known that you don't need to perform at this exceptional level where everyone else is, despite your circumstances. It's okay to take as much time as you need to process and make sense of devastating events that hold you back in life. It is completely okay to have bad days. Especially after devastating events, you will have a lot of bad days. But that's okay, because over time, you will return to baseline. Because you know that the universe works in this beautiful, balanced way, where you may be at a high right now, but motherfucker, you're going to go back down below baseline and back to baseline to functioning normal. That's the beauty of being in a homeostatic existence, I guess, is one way of putting it. You will eventually return to baseline, and you will muster up the strength, confidence, initiative, agency to take action and change your situation. And truthfully, at that point, it's way better late than never. At least that's how I like to look at it. I'm going to give you a silly little stoic quote that I like that I wrote. You must go through the mud and dirt of a trek up a mountain before you can witness the beauty of the summit. Does the feeling and pain of not living up to your potential because that mud and dirt weighed you down so much, does that feeling really outweigh the feelings and pain that you will experience from putting effort into your current hell and getting out of it? Unfortunately, you didn't have a choice in this. You were spawned into this environment, and unfortunately, you've developed these attachments as a result of living with these types of people. But is that pain of not living up to your potential, is not being able to have a family, a loving family, raise something beautiful in this world, plant seeds, does the pain of not having that really outweigh the pain of going through that mountain? Life is truthfully just a mountain, and the one key to not getting knocked down over and over again is to not stop. You just continue going, regardless of how these people make you feel, regardless of how shit your day was. We press on. Our human will to persevere is so fucking strong. When we literally put our minds to it, we tell ourselves that, you know what, I'm going to keep doing this shit until I'm fucking dead. We find out so much more about ourselves that we didn't know in the past. And it's through this energy that we got through living in this shitty environment. That is an incredible source of energy that we can feed from. Just as terrible as it is, it can be equally as beautiful. And I think the degradation of staying in the same situation, and I'm speaking a lot for myself when I say this, it's the worst thing that has happened to us. It has stunted our growth years. And it's left us with not so much to show for it, so much so that now we feel like there's a fire under our ass, and we feel like we need to take action in order to live slightly more fulfilling. Because 25 years, 30 plus years of living in the same environment, it is going to kill you. One way or another, whether it's slowly and in terms of degrading every other aspect of your life, it will kill you. If we stay in that any longer, surely we're not going to lead fulfilling lives. We're going to be that same exact person that we've been for years. Remember that person that you felt you were when you were 15? Maybe for me it was when I was 12, when I first recognized, like, holy shit, depression is a thing and maybe my environment isn't normal. We're going to be that same exact wounded child who stays in that environment because these are the people we trust, and this is the only thing we've ever known in our lives. We're always going to just cut ourselves short just before making something great of ourselves because we are so attached and ingrained with these people in this environment that we've known our entire lives. I know it's incredibly hard, and I know it feels fucking impossible, but I want to explain this stuff to you because I truthfully want you to live a better life. And together, by sharing these experiences and understanding how to get out, what's causing this, the detriment, the damage that's been caused, we will live a better life. And that's a life that you deserve. Regardless of what you tell yourself, you deserve to live you deserve to be treated like a human being. You deserve to be fucking loved. If we stay in the same place, these are some of the grueling consequences that we're going to encounter. You won't give yourself the opportunity to meet new individuals. Let yourself understand the beauty, the love, the good that is in this world. Like new relationships, healthy connections, emotional bonding for the sake of basically being more sustainable. We all need people to emotionally bond with so we can feel less shit about our lives. It sounds fucking crazy, but even when I'm not crying about my situation, I'm thinking about you beautiful people's situations and how we're in similar boats and how that's impacted us. That shit brings tears to my fucking eyes. Firstly, thank you for sharing that with me, and secondly, we're going to fucking make it because we have each other. By staying in the same situation, you're chaining yourself to the current misery that you've known your entire life. Dozens of years of the same interaction, same abuse, same torture, same lack of understanding and empathy. Same just throwing you into the fucking garbage. Yet we stay. Despite our emotional attachment to it, it's objective that seeing things slowly degrade over time is beyond miserable. And nobody deserves that level of just intense pain and damage that you experience from watching your loved ones wither away. Firstly, I'm so sorry that you have to experience this process every single day. It is fucking grueling. I'm so sorry that these people that you're literally sacrificing your life in order to help them at their worst, because these are the people you love most in this world. I'm so sorry that they never show you the appreciation that you deserve. I'm so sorry they spit in your face every single fucking time that you put forth the effort that's necessary to make their lives better and not your own in the process. Change isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to be incredibly lonely. I've noticed this through changing my life. You don't have many people to do it with, and unfortunately, it takes time to rebuild. But down the line, the connections, the relationships, the skills that you develop along the way, nobody can take that from you. That is such a beautiful thing that's ingrained in you because you've experienced all this shitty stuff. This is basically the period where you're moving on from all the shit and you're rebuilding. These newly found relationships, the way that you learn to interact with friends, the beauty that you can share, the appreciation that you can have despite not being able to have that with your parents, that's a beautiful thing in the rebuilding process. And if you don't put yourself out there, you rob yourself of that opportunity. I can't imagine how beautiful the outcome would be if you channeled this incredible level of energy that you have into improving your situation and taking on new challenges that at first seem impossible. But with a little bit of support, you got this shit. You deserve to have your own family. You deserve to have flourishing relationships despite your own self-limiting beliefs. That energy that you output through agency, trying to find these new individuals to interact with, trusting individuals, as hard as that may be, trying to pull through and improve each day through working on yourself in this manner, it's going to lead you to have 10 times more satisfying of a life, regardless of how you feel now. With consistent effort and a little bit of gratitude, I know it's really fucking hard to be thankful for the situation that you're in right now. But believe me, the worst things in life tend to also be the best things in life. Oddly enough. It's hard to see that when you're really emotional, but that level of intense fire under your ass, that is an incredible source of fuel. Through working on yourself over years and years, you will dissipate that traumatizing abuse that's just been instilled in you over years, that just has never seemed to be able to leave. That energy will dissipate the more you distance yourself from these people and the more you allow yourself to have a healthy life. And I understand that is some damning fucking abuse. If it takes a while, believe me, I understand, and I'm not judging you. I'm not blaming you. I want to leave you with this. Things may not make much sense right now, but I swear there is light at the end of all of this darkness and suffering. Things will get better and easier to manage after each day that passes. I know it's really fucking hard. It might take a few months to even see this, but this is the case. Even if you don't have faith in yourself, I believe in you. There is so much beauty that comes from simply refusing to give up. No matter how hard it is, no matter how much it breaks you down to your very core, the human will that you have to persevere, it's fucking incredible. It is unfathomable how much energy is in that. And for that reason, I know that you will be able to get through this. That's all I wanted to say.